turns out there's a reason why I can't get out of bed. And it's not just because I'm a lazy loser. This is also a medical diagnosis.
Women really can have everything.
Amen. Yeah.
Several months ago, I did a performance and I brought back one of my old characters, Pat.
Pat, yes, how fun. No.
After years of searching and endless hours of therapy, where can I be? Where am I okay?
Hi everyone, it's Anthony Allen Ramos. Okay, I'm so excited that Work in Progress Season 2 is coming August 22nd at 8 o'clock on Showtime. I'm still thinking about that final scene from Season 1, and today I'm so excited to be talking with Abby McEnany. How are you?
I am so good. It's so nice to meet you, Anthony. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. GLAAD, we saw this show, immediately fell in love with it, knew it was so important. But, before I get into Season 2, because I do have a lot of questions,
Okay.
Thinking back on Season 1, I remember so many of my friends just falling in love with the show, but then also you had the critics loving it, which is kind of that perfect thing. What was it like for you? Just in terms of your own mental health and all of the thoughts that go into putting your project out there. What was that like to kind of just realize that people were like, yes, we need to see the show?
I gotta say, it still doesn't seem real. And I think that there's a lot of protective stuff in there, to protect my brain and heart. And I do that. I've learned a lot of ways to do that as somebody who struggles with mental stuff. Mental stuff, the real good word, mental illness, whatever. I'm really good with terms, Anthony. We'll learn that very quickly. I think really what has saved me, I think for a really long time, is that I'm not on social media. So I don't really hear that much. But I know, like, I do hear a little bit, and I'm so happy and honored about it. I have a really good group of people close to me, like friends and family that are my folks. And I think the old, like, because I'm old, I've gotten this, like, modicum of success at an older age. At 51, we got the show. So I think it's a good timing, because I know myself very well, and I know what I need and what I need to ask for, and who I can trust close to me. I don't know. And there's so many wonderful people that come together and work on the show. Like, it's certainly not a one person band, like it's it's overwhelming but lovely. How about that?
I love that. Do you think it gave you a boost of confidence? Because I'm thinking back, you kind of, I think you were in your 40s when you kind of pivoted, and now you talked about getting the show at 51. I mean, I love that we're that we're seeing that.
Well, I started taking info classes at 25.
Got it.
And so, like, I've been doing this for a really long time. I got on Second City the national touring company at 40. So, like, that's when I actually, like, got to, like, travel around and do improv and sketch comedy, and like leave like, I always call it any real job to me means that you have insurance. So then leave the job, leave the real world at 40. And then and I think that, like, I'm one of those folks that, like, just needs a lot of time and classes and repetition to start feeling more and more confident. So I just feel really, really fortunate. And also, I think that one thing that's really helped me in my brain is that this business, especially, like, it's really, you can get stuck in comparing yourself to other folks. And I think one thing about being like a fat, masculine, queer, and who's, like, now older and older and older, is that there's nobody else that was like in my community, like my performing community, that, like, was like me. So that kind of, I wasn't, like, up for the same roles as, like, 15 other folks. And I think that was actually a really good thing, because I'm on my own path. And that's okay. And I think that was just, like, the only thing I was like, yeah, don't stop comparing yourself to other folks. And I know that we can all get stuck in that thing, especially in this work, right? In this work we can. And I
That's
don't
good
know.
words of wisdom just in general. Yeah, don't compare yourself to others.
I don't have a better way to say this, but life just got in the way of me killing myself.
Give me an example.
I got a promotion.
Ooh, look at you internally communicating.
My best friend Campbell moved in.
That's good, right? Life kept you alive.
I think, with so much of what we see on television and in film, and it's important that we see this, but so much is, the young coming out story, or that early love affair, or that love story that's, important, but we don't see enough queer stories from and about people that are, a tad bit older that maybe are still figuring things out. And that's what I like so much about this show. Why do you think, it's important that we also, show that narrative?
Well, I mean, there's infinite number of stories out there, and there are an infinite number of queer stories, right? And I think and they're all worthwhile, and they're all worth to be told. I just think that we don't have a lot of representation of older queers that actually, or older fat people, or older women, and I'll put those all together, on television, and certainly not. I mean, I can't believe that. I was always like, I would dare to dream that maybe I would be able to be like an ancillary character, like in in an ensemble sitcom, like that would show up like once a season. I'd be like, that would be a dream. Like I've never had so this to me is amazing. This was in my brain, never it was never a love story. It was never supposed to be like, oh, Abby falls in love and she's healed. No, that's crap. That doesn't happen. And also I'm so sick of the trope that people are only defined as worthwhile if they have somebody like romantically in love with them or sexually attracted to them. That's crap. There's value in folks living their own life. And it goes back to stop comparing yourself to other folks. I am not happiest when I'm with somebody. I'm way happier when I'm single. And that's probably says a lot about me. I mean, I don't think that's necessary, but it's that's okay. It doesn't mean anybody who doesn't, I don't know if you people are like, oh, are you seeing somebody? No. Oh, I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, I'm good. It's and then it's all about the judgment of what they think is best for all people. You don't fucking know me. I shouldn't swear.
That's okay. No, we're good.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, how dare you take this fucking trope that is so hurtful to so many people that think they aren't valuable, that think they don't have worth, and that can go for being single, for being fat, for being mentally ill, for being queer, for being old, and I don't know. So I guess that's why I think it's important. Is there maybe there's an answer in there, Anthony? I don't know.
No, I got that. And speaking of the relationship, thinking of the finale of season 1, obviously,
gosh.
Abby and Chris, that relationship has blown up, but without giving away too much, what can you tell us about what we're going to see with season 2? Because I know also it was challenging to do this during a pandemic in Chicago, and tell us about that too, because you can only imagine. The way season 1 ended was with this horrible act of violence from Abby against Chris, and then also that and Abby's it's a hate crime against the queer community and the trans community, and it's so horrible. I mean, the way it ends is so horrible. And so season 2 is a lot about as somebody as Abby is somebody who has suicidal ideations and has given herself a time limit. It's the day before, right? And she thinks she's well, this is it, and she doesn't want to see Chris because she knows Chris is going to dump her. So if I get through the 180 days, and so it just comes to this crashing end. And so so the season is about that self-talk, that self-hate, and then there's something that happens at the beginning of season 1 that keeps Abby busy, so she doesn't have time, kind of. and what's that road to redemption? And not only with other folks, but with yourself. How do you find that love of yourself, or that worth in yourself to keep going? And and that search, and we see Abby a lot this season showing up for other folks. And as somebody who's really struggled with mental illness my whole life, it's often hard to ask for help because you feel like you're always asking for help. And so sometimes it's a performative thing, right? It's okay, I'm going to be out anytime I leave the house, it's oh, hey, but there's a lot of stuff that you feel
I feel sometimes I have to do on my own, and like, you don't want to be a burden and all that stuff, all that crap that that piles up, and you want to be a good friend and stuff. So I don't know if that really answered your question, but like, so I think we see that, like, we see kind of the search for like redemption. But I think also it's like finding redemption in yourself. Like if, and I have a hard time, like, I think in society now, like and I hate social media and I'm not on it, as I said, like, so I don't see a lot of the vitriol. But I think, like, we live in society, like there used to be conversations, and now they're not conversations, like you're vilified and people don't learn. Like, I think that there's like, people are afraid to talk about stuff because they're going to say something wrong. And then they don't have time to learn and listen and stuff. And I definitely feel that. And so I always say, look, I fuck up all the time. I want to be a better person. I want to be a better human being, a better friend.
For my last question, because so many important conversations around mental health, with filming in this pandemic.
Yeah.
I think for queer people, especially, already feeling isolated, and, it's been a challenge, and it's getting challenging again, but I guess what did, advice, or, how do you continue on and get through, these tough times that we're all facing in this pandemic?
It was really horrible. And there were times I don't even, I feel like, as somebody, who's like, it was a horrible time for everybody, but I feel like at least I knew that I had like my chosen and bio family, right? Like, so I feel like I worry about like the folks that are really isolated, whether even if they're in a city thing, but like within their like religious community or their family, that they don't feel they don't have people and they feel unsafe. And so I don't know, I guess my only advice, and it's really easy to give as somebody who has this, is that there's love for you out there. There's a family for you out there. You're okay. Like they're people that will love you. And it's so as a like, Lily and I would talk all the time about like how like Pride and the Dyke March and all the events that happen in Chicago in the summer, especially, like there's a way just to find like your folks, and like, even if you don't know anybody, that you see folks and you're out and you're celebrated and you're celebrating each other. And it's just so, you need it, you really need it. And we didn't have it. And it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. So I guess the advice is that like, hold on, and that there are people that will love you and accept you, and you're okay, and you're not bad, and you're not evil, and you're worth it.
Oh, I love that. And thankfully we have shows like Work in Progress, thanks to you. And just a reminder, everyone watching, that season 2 is starting August 22nd at 8 o'clock on Showtime. Abby, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for creating this show.
Thank you
for all of the great stories, and hopefully I will see you in person very soon.
I really hope so, Anthony. That would be a treat. Okay.
Fingers crossed.